Yo, bitch, what's going on? Y'all already know what it is. Yes, bitch. Here I am again. I don't know why that's necessary because because this has nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? Yep. So I don't know why I just did that, but anyways, here we are. If you're gonna watch me have a wank, it's gonna cost you a tenner. Anyways, I might have a wank to be honest. No one's home right now, so maybe after this. You coming over? We can do it together. Anyways, what are we up to today, bitch? So yeah, I mean this came out of nowhere really. I mean, I guess the internet knows me because they know me well. Let me actually show you something really cool because you know I'm a bit of a collector myself. If I do say so myself. Look at this out. Check this out. Boom, bitch. Yeah, I got this for like $5 for some reason. This is not that expensive. This was the last Splinter Cell game, and we have no Splinter Cell games of the new generation. For the PS4 era, none, and maybe PS5, depending on what this is, because this came out I think like a couple of weeks ago. I didn't get notified, but I like espionage gameplay, games like this, games like Assassin's Creed, any stealth gameplay with the Origami, Mark of the Ninja, Metal Gear Solid, of course, all of that, right? This cost me $50. I got it for PS3 because I like them trophies, you know what I'm saying? It just looks good, you know? Like, I like having it physically. Like, I love buying digital games, don't get me wrong. And they're a lot cheaper, but it's the aesthetic, you know? As an aesthete, you gotta have it, bitch. But, yeah, I got the Trilogy and Blacklist. I think this is all, right? Of course, the Double Asian and other stuff like that. But I think this is the main titles. I'm gonna play them eventually. I need to get myself a game capture. Probably like an Elgato HD60 maybe. So I can use my PS3. Because the PS4 has a built-in recording system, but PS3 does not. So, fuck, you know? Otherwise, you just saw me playing Arkham Origins. Although I'm gonna play I Am the Knight version for Arkham Origins, so you're gonna see that eventually. Hopefully, I can get like a game cap. Anyways, so why even bother talking about Splinter Cell? I think you already know what it is. Like I said, this came out a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't informed of it. Shame. But this is, let me just read the title: Splinter Cell official 20th anniversary presentation. So this game franchise started 20 years ago, I'm guessing. Wow, it literally started when I was born. Holy shit. I like it though. You know that's why I got it? Pardon my asthma. Anyways, asthma, how the fuck do you even say it? Fuck it. I just turned 40, I'm old as shit, but I can still fuck your bitch. Shit, son, I don't need that shit. I just really need some cotton 4K. Anyways, this is 1080p though, right? So this is the presentation. I don't know, it's like 20 minutes long. So I don't know what it's not like a trailer. Could this mean that, okay, I'm speculating here, it could be a remaster of the original trilogy, possibly a remaster of this for newer generations, you know what I'm saying? I doubt they're going to do that to Blacklist. It could be a new title, but I seriously doubt it. Because it's a lot easier and less time consuming and less money consuming to just rebuild an old game than to build a new game from the ground up, right? And since it's Ubisoft, they like to fucking cut corners sometimes. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Ubisoft because they make my most favorite games: Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia. Like, these games are fun and they're good. At least they were, you know? But, like, they kind of fucking shit up recently, you know? They're becoming greedy. But that's like every game company out here, you know what I mean? It's like they don't give a shit anymore, right? It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a crying shame. But anyways, yeah, I'm speculating it's either going to be a remaster. I doubt it's going to be a new title. I seriously doubt it. You know, it did surprise me, but let's just see what it is, alright? 3, 2, 1. Peggy's 18. She's fair game. Open season. 20th, okay.
We're here at Ubisoft Toronto, and we'll be sitting down
Ubisoft,
with some
that's
of
how
the
you say
team
it.
working on the Splinter
I'm in
Cell
Toronto.
remake,
Hire me,
as well as
bitch.
hearing from some special guests. We'll discuss what made Splinter Cell a pioneer in the industry, some of our favorite memories and moments, and we'll talk a bit about what's next for the franchise.
Yeah, fucking tell me about that. That's all I'm concerned about, alright? What's next for Splinter Cell?
So we're here at Ubisoft Toronto's performance capture studio. Can you guys believe that it's been 20 years since the original Splinter Cell came out way back in 2002? It makes me feel
That's when I was born!
old, but that's okay. I think it's a good memory to have of a great franchise. So maybe we can just talk a little bit about some of our memories of it.
I like the
where
green
we
lights
were
at the
when we
back.
first
I get it.
experienced, you know, Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell way back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the first Splinter Cell, the original 20 years ago, I was still in high school, still had a full head of hair. And at the time, broadband internet was not ubiquitous like it is now. So we would get our games on demo discs, which you would have attached to magazines. And I remember popping that into my PC. And even though it ran a bit like a slideshow, I played through it like 4 or 5 times. And it wasn't until I played it on my friend's Xbox that I truly understood what a technical marvel that game was. The lighting, the shadows, the animations, everything about it blew my mind, and it's been stuck in there ever since, and I totally love the franchise now.
It was amazing to see what Splinter Cell was doing at the time compared to other games, like that dynamic lighting, like just being able to shoot the lights, creating your own dark spaces or shadows, like recreating the space for how you wanted to play. Like that was the thing that I thought was really different from the other games that came out at the same time that are also focusing on stealth gameplay.
You could
it's like a pioneer, right?
You know, dynamically accomplished and
right,
yeah,
in your own way.
Yeah.
I also started with the original Splinter Cell, right? On the Xbox with the Duke controller, big beefy controller in my hands. But what stood out to me was more the gameplay. It was this action-adventure game where you were playing as, you know, this stealth spy-style guy, but unlike other games in the genre, you didn't get out all the time. You weren't just coming up to every enemy, every obstacle, shooting them in the head. It instead was about stealth. It was about going around enemies. It was about watching a situation, a very simple situation, figuring out how am I going to get past this without them seeing me. That was so different.
That's pretty slick right
I
there.
think for me, I came
for an
into
old
the
game.
franchise a
It's
little
pretty
bit
good.
Later. I started with Chaos Theory, and I remember, you know, it got recommended to me by a friend. He said, "You need to check this game out," and I first got into that level with the lighthouse and the storm, and you had the rain coming down and the thunder and lightning, and you were sneaking from corner to corner, and you know you had that kind of soundtrack by Amon Tobin playing over the top of it. It was super memorable as this experience altogether with the the different kind of shadow gameplay. You went down into the underground where the guy was being tortured with the kind of the backlit like shadow of the the experience that was happening, and I just remember coming away from that feeling that the atmosphere had just been nailed, and it kind of hooked me in ever since.
Blacklist, what is that?
I cannot believe that the Splinter Cell series is 20 years old. This is a game
I can't believe I'm 20 years old. I made it.
The
Damn.
third-person stealth action genre. You know, one of my favorite points was that Splinter Cell was an original Xbox exclusive.
That's fucking awesome,
When the original
dude.
Splinter Cell released in 2002,
that is cool.
raised the technical bar from the lighting, which was some of the best we've seen up until that point, to the cutting-edge graphics. For me, the original set the scene for one of my favorite entries in the franchise, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell: Pandora Tomorrow, because that kicked off an entirely new part of the series, multiplayer. This is the game that really helped people understand the vision that we had for a brand new service called Xbox Live. Some of the press called it the single best reason to get online. This was a huge leap forward in the industry.
So let's talk about Sam Fisher, the person at the heart of the franchise. He's not your typical kind of gung-ho, bravado-filled hero. He's got more depth than that. He's got a lot more kind of warmth to him. He's got a wit and a charm and a conscience, and he can make his own decisions on the battlefield. He's not someone that's just kind of coldly murdering everyone. He's got these kind of qualities to him that really resonate with people.
Just pulled up Celestinia's last dry dock report for the Maria Narcissa. They have a newly installed central alarm system.
Don't tell me. 3 alarms and the mission is over?
Of course not. This is no video game, Fisher. But you don't want the whole place alerted to your presence. Keep it under control.
In the original trilogy, Sam has a very unique personality, right? He is witty, he is sarcastic, but he's also an elite operator still, right? And then in the later games, he goes through personal loss, and that whole storyline is very carefully interwoven with the narrative of those extra games. So it's an evolving story with Sam Fisher.
Dad?
Sarah.
Blacklist?
Sarah.
I was like Blacklist.
Sarah.
I thought you were dead. They told me you were dead.
Sarah, I'm sorry, but if I hear that Black Arrow radio chatter right, we are out of time. I'll let you sit next to him, but we gotta go.
So that really shows how human-like Sam is, right? This even comes down to the way that in gameplay he interacts with his enemies. One of the unique things about Splinter Cell is that rather than just shoot every enemy you come up to, he can also talk to them. He can take an enemy in a grab and interrogate them to get information.
Hi there.
Hi.
What's the door code?
28469.
It was a pleasure working with you.
Likewise.
And while he's doing it, he'll crack a joke, like a dumb joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not a monster. He's not here to say, I'm going to kill you. But he's treating them as just enemies on the other side of the battlefield.
I like that he has very strong morals, right? Like, he's not reveling in death. He is actually showing respect to the fellow soldiers, but on the other side.
There was this level in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. You're in Seoul, it's war-torn, and there's this US plane that has crashed, and Sam's objective is to get the data out of the plane. But Sam's like, some of the pilots are still here.
Let me get the pilots to safety first.
I'm telling you what
The player can choose as Sam to pull the bodies out of the wreckage and get them away from the bombing zone. Lambert's like, do your mission, but Sam's like, I'll do me.
Yeah, Sam gets the order, but Sam also makes the decision what he does with the order. And in that same vein, the player is making that choice. That's, again, the player agency. They are in control.
But
Sam
those
Fisher is,
that
like,
trigon
such
was so
a
cool,
plain
goddammit.
Name, but everyone knows who he is, right? Like, he's associated very closely with Splinter Cell. You know that's the guy. And then what's kind of cool is you think of him as a spy, right? He's a covert operative. He's doing things in the shadow and sneaking around. Everything about the way he talks, the way he talks about his missions, and in the way he tackles the missions, the way he talks to his other team members, the way he moves around the world, everything just felt ultra realistic.
So the original game did some incredible things with technology to really push the immersion of the world that you were in, and it made it feel like it was a living, breathing kind of, something bigger than just a level space or a corridor or something like that. It had this breakable glass technology that was reasonably kind of new and exciting at the time. The cloth physics, when you went through those and they kind of moved and flapped around in the breeze as you were kind of, sneaking through all that kind of stuff. We had the fish tank physics, the famous fish tank. You could shoot the fish tank, and the water would actually lower down to the point where you shot. And at the time, that was kind of super cool and never really been seen before. And obviously, the lighting, the shadow, all of that tech is absolutely integral and important to a stealth-based game. And yeah, it was pretty fundamental at the time.
No one really did dynamic lighting in that way, in the same way that Splinter Cell did. Traditionally, you would use a baked light map or shadow map, which was baked into the environment. But when Splinter Cell did it, it was truly dynamic. You could shoot out almost all the lights, and it would be pitch black. And it would really make you have to use the gadgets that Sam's got, like the night vision goggles and things like that.
Right. Sam is operating in the shadows. The world is moving despite his presence. And a lot of this was really shown off in the second level of the original Splinter Cell, the police station level. Near the end of the level, you are going through the second floor offices of this police station. It's after hours, so all the lights are off. The only lights in the room are coming from the desk monitors. So these police officers are, clacking away at the keyboards, but they don't even realize that Sam is there. You are actually a ghost going around in that environment.
It was interesting how the player could interact with the environment in very dynamic ways.
Yeah, and Sam had the stealth meter, which let you know your visibility, which changed based on the lighting in the environment. And then in Chaos Theory, you also had the audio meter, right? So you could tell how much sound you're making, and it would be affected by other things in the environment, like the sound of engines, which you, again, could turn on and off and affect those things.
Right, and the player could also understand the sound that they were creating while navigating through the environment.
And today with Splinter Cell Remake, we can use a lot more of the rendering and processing power to create some really, really, really compelling and detailed settings.
Remake?
And also spend some of that processing power towards AI processing between, the different AI archetypes as well. We're going to have to try to simulate, the different kind of behaviors and reactions and ways of moving. Obviously, a special forces soldier will be better trained. They're going to, breach differently or kind of enter rooms differently to something like just a regular security guard would, for example.
And with Snowdrop, we now have the tools to be able to produce some of this stuff, right? We have advanced lighting in the form of ray traced global illumination, which gives you much more realistic.
It is a
lighting
remake.
effects,
There you fucking go.
like light transference from different objects onto different
I just
materials.
bought the game,
And on
goddammit.
the audio side, we can also have much better audio simulations. We can have audio occlusion where the sounds will get absorbed by different material types. You can have sound bouncing through a window to you around in the corridor. So a much more realistic audio setting as well.
Yeah, we can really improve the AI engagement, right? Like how they are reacting, what they're reacting to. With all of that, we can make improvements to the cat and mouse gameplay between Sam and the enemies, right? Especially with our enemies behaving like trained professionals.
With Splinter Cell Remake, animation is a big focus for us. Some of those interrogations back in the day with the facial animation, there's a lot we can obviously do 20 years in the future from that as well.
A lot has changed since then.
So obviously animation is an area of tech as well. We can really push for a game like Splinter Cell. What does Sam look like? What does he feel like when he's moving in these environments, when he's taking cover, when he's kind of crouching under things, doing the pipe movements or the split jumps or the takedowns or the interrogations. There's so much in there that relies on the animation quality and that tech-driven kind of animation system, just making you feel like you're in that space and part of that experience.
Yeah, and we have the capability to really dive deep on that animation now on the tech side. The animation is definitely one of those big focuses that the original games did so well, and we want to do that justice.
So we're getting a remake, I fucking called it. So is it the entire trilogy or just the first game?
No
I think it's just
question,
the first game.
my favorite Splinter Cell thus far is Chaos Theory.
Everyone seems to
I
say
gave
that.
it a
Chaos Theory.
9.9 out of 10.
Damn.
For official Xbox magazine back in 2005, which remains and will forever be the highest score that we ever gave a game on the 100-point scale.
Shit,
you
really?
have this gorgeous,
Damn.
stunning sandbox campaign with Sam, with all these memorable missions like the bank, like Shanghai, the New York apartment, so many different cool settings to sneak around in. It was amazing sound, stunning graphics on the original Xbox, just an unbelievable game.
But it's even better now, obviously, right? Technological enhancements and
The
shit
level
like
design
that.
in the original Splinter Cell obviously was a little bit more kind of linear in the beginning, and then over the course of the franchise, it tended to open up a little bit more.
Right. You can see the evolution of the level design over the franchise. So you compare, say, in the original Splinter Cell, the police station level, the policey streets. The player's kind of navigating, through these tight corridors, through this very designer-oriented path, going up a ladder, up a scaffolding, down a zip line, through a vent, all to go forward. Player rarely had options on how to proceed. In Chaos Theory, there's the bank level, one of the most favorite levels. Yeah, my favorite level in the Splinter Cell franchise. There are multiple ways to enter the level and then multiple ways to proceed through the bank itself. You're doing this heist, you need to sneak in, there's just security guards that are kind of like patrolling around through the night, and you can either bust through the front door with, guns blazing, or you can kind of go around the side, get up to the rooftop, and do this really cool rappel into the bank lobby.
A lot of options there as well, right?
Exactly, and it just gives the player this breadth of options to proceed through this non-linear layout.
Yeah, and obviously Splinter Cell is not an open world simulation or anything like that, and we need to make sure that we're providing the right experience.
Right, we want to bring back those level design principles from Chaos Theory to the original Splinter Cell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is that Double Agent or is that
The bank from Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, one of the most legendary missions. That's probably the first mission that a lot of people, myself included, think of when they think of Chaos Theory. Just the million different ways in and out and around that level and that mission, just so memorable. Definitely stealth action redefined.
fourth echelon diamond dogs?
The original Splinter Cell really embraced that ghost play style, right? That idea that you're not just going around shooting, every enemy in the face, leaving a ton of bodies around. It was more about making sure that you're completing subjective in a very professional way, where the enemy barely even knows you've ever been there.
That's true stealth, right?
Really
Like just
speaks
being
to
a
the
ghost.
fantasy
You're
of
not
the
even there.
character
No?
And also the organization, right? The original Splinter Cell was about the formation of Third Echelon, and they're an organization that is solving really complex global problems, but no one should ever know they were there.
I think sense of mastery also, if we're talking about perfectionism in the game, is something that's really important. We even would like for the remake to take that a step further. We would like to make sure that the entire game playable from beginning to end without a single kill, if at all possible. So that's something that's important for us as well. And by the way, I do just want to point out I have not 100%ed Bathhouse. Just for the record, I am sorry. I will work on it and I will do better.
It's a very hard level.
It is a very hard level. It's almost like it's a benchmark, I think, in many ways.
And a lot of that comes together in the original Splinter Cell's like alarm state system, right? This was meant to like test the player and really show what their progress in the mission. But it was a bit harsh. The first alarm would, the enemies would start wearing vests. The second alarm, they'd start having helmets on. And then if you mess up 3 times, the mission just instantly fails. Like Lambert would be like, "Good Lord, Fisher, what are you doing, Sam?"
My God, Fisher, have you gone insane? The mission's over.
We want to scale that back a bit in the remake, and we want to give the player a few more opportunities to de-escalate some of those situations, right? Obviously, stealth is an extremely important pillar for us, and we aim to incorporate modern design philosophies, improving the minute-to-minute stealth gameplay that was so special in the original.
So Sam, being the ultimate covert field agent, he has an enormous array of tools and abilities, gadgets, and movements at his disposal. And with all of those, they aim to create these moments of tension by, you know that there's an enemy nearby, you know that there's a threat coming around the corner, and he has these tools in his kind of toolbox that he can use to react to that stuff at a split second. If there's an enemy that's coming kind of around the corner that you didn't spot in time, he can do these split jumps, get up high, and kind of avoid contact. He can plan ahead by looking under doorways and kind of using these tools to kind of understand where the threats and that sort of things are. So we want to create these moments of tension that the player will need to use those tools and gadgets to react to.
Because of the gameplay and because of the mechanics and the environmental design, you felt like you were there. So you have these moments where like I'm hiding behind a desk and some guy's walking down the aisle toward me, and you're just like, you're nervous, right? Because even though you're Sam Fisher, right, you have tools, you can take people out, you're strong, but because you're like hiding in the shadows and you don't want to be found, you don't want to make noise, you don't want to alert the other guards, you don't want them to shoot at you. It just creates this really awesome cat and mouse tension that you haven't seen in any games like that before.
Comics? Damn.
We have some exciting things coming up as well with Splinter Cell. There's an animated series that's being worked on with our friends at Netflix, as well as the remake itself, which of course we know because we're all working on that, which is pretty cool. It's not simply a remaster, it's being built from the ground up. We get
there you go, that's the difference, right?
All the content from scratch,
remake versus
fresh,
remaster, that's the
ready
difference.
to go.
Yeah, we're aiming to create this top-tier remake and push quality as much as possible. This should help us set a good foundation for the franchise going forward.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of great posts from the community. We've read the open letter that was on the subreddit. We see all of the other posts on the various socials, and it's really energizing us to keep going.
And obviously with a remake, 20 years later, we can look back at the plot, the characters, and the overall story of the original game, make some improvements, things that might not have aged particularly well, small things, but the core of the story, the core of the experience will remain as it was in the original game.
We've also been exploring new and innovative tech and ideas, as well as features and elements from the other Splinter Cell titles.
We're very early in production. We're still prototyping. We don't want to rush anything. We want to make sure that we absolutely nail the game. We actually do everything in the right way and produce an absolutely stellar quality experience.
I sure as I hope so. You just have
so we can
step your
focus
shit
on
up, you know what I'm
making
saying?
the absolute best game possible. So that wraps it up for us. Thank you for joining, and thank you to our industry friends Ryan, Dan, and Major Nelson as well.
I want to wish one of my favorite franchises ever, Splinter Cell, a happy 20th anniversary.
Thank you, Ubisoft and Sam Fisher, for all the amazing stealthy memories. I'm excited to see what you have in store for us. I've got my night vision goggles and I'm ready to go. Thanks again for having me participate, and happy 20th anniversary to Splinter Cell.
So there you fucking have it. Key being remake versus remaster. Like, what's a remaster? Like, for example, Assassin's Creed 3 remaster. It was literally the exact same game, except they tweaked a little bit of things. But the base was still the same. Right? It's like putting icing on cake or some shit like that, you know? And it did improve. Like, for example, in Assassin's Creed 3, they made the colors a little more vibrant, more pop, right? The heads-up display was a little bit better. Same thing with Rogue, you know? So that's the difference between a remaster where everything is... Same thing SEO Trilogy, right? Like, it was just a remaster. These motherfuckers are talking about remake, right? And it seems that, you know, nowadays in the gaming industry, people are heavily relying on nostalgia and remakes and remasters. Like, what is Final Fantasy, right? They keep on remastering it, right? And I can understand because A, they could be running out of ideas, and B, because they know that nostalgia sells. 30-year-olds are gonna want to buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I never played Splinter Cell. But it, you know, after seeing this, it really shows you how many shits they actually gave back in the day about their games. You know, like, do you remember how awesome Assassin's Creed 2 was? How groundbreaking it was? It's to this day still one of my most favorite games of all time. Right? Of course, I have a nostalgia factor, but like still, you know, and seeing how they worked on the original Splinter Cell, that's impressive shit right there. For the time, that's really good, isn't it? The shit we have nowadays and stuff, that became like a stepping stone, didn't it? Right? So it really shows you how much game companies actually gave a shit back in the day. Right? Nowadays, it's like more like hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? It's a sad reality, but it's true. You know, let's just hope they do good with the remake. And if you didn't hear, they're also remaking or remastering Prince of Persia. Is it a remake or a remaster? Because I think it makes a big difference. Let me actually search right now. Give me a sec. Prince of Persia remake or remaster. Yeah, I think it's a remake. Yeah, it's a remake. So I'm guessing the same way they're remaking Splinter Cell, they're remaking Prince of Persia, also a Ubisoft title. So once the Ubisoft is relying really heavily on the nostalgia, right? Bringing back dead franchises. And Prince of Persia, may I add, is also a pretty dead franchise, right? Like, the last game we got was this, Forgotten Sands, and we haven't seen anything since. So Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia, you know, they're dead franchises that they're reviving, which is good because I like it. I like Prince of Persia. I like Splinter Cell, even though I haven't played it, but I like it. You know, which is why I fucking bought it, you know what I'm saying? But you can see a lot of titles I like are from Ubisoft, right? Which is really hard for me to hate on it because that's my childhood, right? I grew up playing Assassin's Creed, played every single Assassin's Creed except for Valhalla. I'm gonna buy it, don't worry. Just wait for it to go on sale, you know? Like 65% off or something. It's hella cheap online, you know? So I'm just gonna get it then. But yeah, I mean, like, it's good hopes, you know? Hopefully they don't fuck it up. Hopefully it's good, you know? The rest is history, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, because they can't really remake or remaster any more Assassin's Creed games, except for Assassin's Creed 1. I swear to God, bro, what the fuck? Right, they're remaking Prince of Persia, bringing back another dead franchise. They're remaking Prince of Persia, they're remaking Splinter Cell. These are all dead franchises, and Assassin's Creed isn't dead, right? It's still alive, and like, it's a lot more alive than these two, you know? So, after seeing the fact that they're remaking, not just remastering, keyword remaking, these two games, there's hope that they just might remake Assassin's Creed 1. You're talking about 20th anniversary of Splinter Cell? It's been like more than 10 years since more than 10 years since the last Assassin's Creed game. I mean, the first Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed 1 came out in 2007, and now it's 2022. God knows how many fucking years. More than 10 years, definitely. Right? So I know for like a 15th year anniversary or some shit, do it. Do it, I swear to God. I'm calling it, they're gonna remake it, alright? All this foreshadowing, they're remaking Prince of Persia, they're remaking Splinter Cell, they have to remake Assassin's Creed 1! Because that's the only game that has been remastered. Ezio Trilogy, remastered. Assassin's Creed 3, remastered. And Rogue also remastered for newer generations. They must remake Assassin's Creed 1! I swear to God. The same way they're remaking Prince of Persia and Splinter Cell, they must! They have to, goddammit. Or I'm gonna go to Ubisoft Toronto. It's like right there. I live in Mississauga. Toronto's right over there. I'll just take a drive and I'll sit and I'll fucking... please do it, goddammit. I'll like riot or some shit. We need Assassin's Creed. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. This is not a coincidence. I don't believe in the coincidences, goddammit. They're remaking Prince of Persia, remaking Splinter Cell. They will remake Assassin's Creed 1. It's the only logical thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and it's the more lucrative thing to do as well. You like money, don't you? Remake it. I will buy it. I will fucking pre-order it, and I never pre-order shit. Alright, I never pre-order it. I wait for it to like be on the store for like a year or so, and then I wait for it to go on sale. That's what I do, right? Remake it. Remake Assassin's Creed 1, or I'm gonna flip. If you're smart, you do it. So yeah, that's basically all I think about Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, 1, let's go. You know, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna play Splinter Cell, go through all of it. Prince of Persia 2. I have the trilogy downloaded on my PS3 digitally, not the physical copy. I'm calling it. They are going to remake it. They're doing this whole 15-year Assassin's Creed anniversary thing, right? It's gonna be, and they said they're gonna do something about Assassin's. It has to. It has to. It's the only logical thing to do, right? You're on this. You got this momentum of remakes, of classic games that were groundbreaking, right? You must remake Assassin's Creed 1. All right, I'm calling it. They're gonna do it. All right, they're gonna do it. Just hope for the best, and it's gonna be good. All right, so I'm out of here. Later.